What is going on YouTube? Hidden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we are going to be looking at XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as well as the S&P 500. Guys, yesterday I was totally wrong. I'll admit my mistake here. We actually thought cryptocurrency was going to see a swing to the upside here since we were starting to trend above our massive symmetrical triangle here. And the reason we thought we would continue the uptrend was because the S&P was actually starting to trend upwards. Yesterday, the S&P actually did fairly well. Still inside its descending fractal here, you can see the downtrend, the stair-stepping pattern that's just correcting us lower and lower and lower. You can see that yesterday we actually managed to trend upwards. Now, I don't think this trend is going to continue here, but the weird thing was this is the first time I've seen in a very long time where we've seen the S&P 500 trend upwards and crypto, including Bitcoin and the other ones, correct downwards, actually seeing a drop in price. This was very confusing, very odd, and I'm honestly confused as to why this exactly happened. So today we're going to try to figure out what exactly is going on with these cryptos, what we can expect to see happen moving forward. Are we actually confirmed out of this, symmetrical triangle here? Or are we able to adjust this and say, hey, maybe we didn't actually break bullish. Maybe we're seeing something like that, which I don't think is true here. But we have to check everything out, kind of see what exactly is going on here. Cryptocurrency is going to become very difficult to trade the next couple of weeks moving forward here because of how uncertain the market is, because of how markets are trending low, and because we're oversold on most of these cryptos. The fact that the S&P was able to make a pretty substantial move to the upside here, only 1.8 something percent. I know that's not a lot, but it is a little bit in the eyes of the market, considering it moves on average about 10% a year here. We're in a very interesting predicament. So if you guys want a little more information about these cryptos, what exactly we're going to see happen, definitely stick around throughout today's video. Now, today's video is brought to us once again by 1inch. As you guys know, 1inch is pretty much a decentralized exchange that you can trade around on. Well, surprisingly, they are offering a way to actually get free gas fees. As you guys know, the gas fees on Ethereum are extremely expensive here, but 1inch is actually going to refund you those. And I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end of today's video. And on a newer note, just a couple of days ago, I think 3 days ago, 1inch actually put out an article which says that the network is delighted to emerge as the DEX's segment's top performer. It says, importantly, this month achievement coincided with 1inch's 3rd anniversary celebrated this month. So they are the leading DEX exchange here, as you guys can see, with the most trading volume, which is pretty incredible, even inside a bear market, which is pretty insane to think about too here. So more information about 1inch will be at the end of today's video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Otherwise, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's dive into today's episode. So unfortunately, we managed to drop lower yesterday, and that's pretty much going to be the talk of today's video. For whatever reason, we saw cryptocurrencies actually break bearish. It was quite ironic, actually, because the trade that we were talking about here, we didn't really get burned that bad. We did lose on the trade, of course, just a little bit though, because we put a stop loss pretty tight here. But ironically, the fact that the markets broke through our beautiful symmetrical triangle, we put a stop loss right about here. The fact that we immediately dumped and reversed, which was exactly the opposite of what I thought was going to happen, is pretty hysterical to me. Now, these things do happen. We can't win every single trade. That would be insane if we did, but we can't win every single trade, and we'll make up for it in the near future here. But the fact is, we managed to break down. We corrected through the major symmetrical triangle that we had and started to correct lower here, which is unfortunate. And now we're kind of just trading sideways here. So clearly things aren't necessarily adding up the way we'd like them to be. And you can see here, we're still pretty much doing the same thing that Bitcoin has been doing for the past couple of days now. So really what I'm going to do is pretty much delete these symmetrical triangle movements here. And I'm going to draw another horizontal line. As you guys can see, for the most part, we do have a support right here and we do have a top resistance. And this is it. This is what we're dealing with right now. This is the channel. Clearly there's no symmetrical triangles or triangles in any sense forming on these major cryptocurrencies. So clearly we can't use that as an indicator because it didn't work. We, got stopped out. So now we have to figure out what exactly we're dealing with. We do know here that there is some sort of sideways channel that is forming on Bitcoin here. We've had, we get started here when we broke in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going on past 2 weeks now. We're coming on 3 weeks of just sideways trading here. We are still currently inside a massive descending fractal. You can see where we are creating these stair-stepping patterns, these lower high formations, and here we are again. We can either, trend like this and break downwards, or we can break through it and correct up and fall. Who knows what's to come with these cryptos? But clearly, we're not necessarily doing any sort of symmetrical triangle or triangular movement within these major cryptos here. Same thing is also applying itself with XRP here. I'm going to delete these charts because it's clearly not working here. It's unfortunate that this symmetrical triangle didn't actually work, and we're pretty much in a downtrend. If not, we are pretty much in some sort of descending fractal here. Kind of hard to draw exactly what it is that we're dealing with here, but there is some sort of downtrend that's pretty much forming on XRP as well as pretty much all the cryptocurrencies here. So you can see the downtrend on XRP. We're at the end, which is interesting because the other cryptos don't seem to be at the end here. And you can see for Ethereum, we still managed to break inside the descending fractal, which is nice, but we are consolidating. We're kind of trading okay on most of the daily charts here, just slightly above oversold, but we are very close to the bottoms. You can see that we are very close to the bottom here on Ethereum. XRP is extremely low. Bitcoin as well is pretty much trending at the bottom too, right at around 29,000. We seem to be moving between 29 and 31 on Bitcoin. So what does that leave us with? What is the next trade opportunity for these cryptocurrencies? Clearly, we're falling stagnant here. Markets have no volume. Volume has completely died off with these cryptocurrencies here. You can see from the major swings to the downside, the major volume here. We've now managed to literally spiral all the way down to being flatlined with no volume, no movement, no utility within these cryptocurrencies here, which is unfortunate. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's volume is pretty much dying off completely here. It seems like a waiting game. It's kind of hard to track exactly what's forming within XRP. The weekly even shows it a little more difficult to kind of figure out what exactly is going on. I mean, are we at a support? It's definitely hard to say. There could be one here. That might be why we're trending sideways for the time being here. I'll draw a horizontal line. It seems like it might work. You can see in the past here where we've had kind of like supports right here, balances of retests, support again. And then you can see in the past here, we've had quite a bit of supports here. But regardless, we are still scaling lower here. We are oversold in the weekly. It seems like that's the case for most of these cryptos. You can see we're very close to being oversold on Ethereum, as well as Bitcoin is also very close to being oversold. You can see we're pretty much just flatlined out, trading at about 33 on the relative strength indicators here. So I don't know when the next best time to be buying in is. Clearly, I believe strongly, though, that if we see, let's say, Bitcoin break through our bottom support here, we are going to drop. And vice versa, we break through the top, we might actually see a run to the upside. What we have to deal with now is mainly focusing, I think, on Bitcoin and kind of putting XRP to the side for now, as I do believe what happens with Bitcoin, as Bitcoin not only has a better chart to graph, it seems to be the big movement, obviously. If Bitcoin moves, we're going to see XRP move. So my focus now is on Bitcoin, and then relaying that info onto XRP and seeing how that trades. But right now, looking at Bitcoin here, we're clearly inside a sideways channel. That's it. Like, there's no more trends. We thought there was some sort of uptrend like this. There was one forming on the 4-hour. It was clearly there here, but we broke downwards from that. So ideally now we are inside a channel here, and we have to see how we're going to react. Are we going to break through this top resistance and see a run to the upside? Are we going to break through the bottom supports and correct to the downside? That's pretty much where I am. So the next trade that I do plan on making within Bitcoin specifically will depend strongly on how we close the daily, either above or below this resistance. You can see we have not been able to break through this support in a very long time. Last time we were there was closer to, it was back here. We retested, or we saw us break through it in 2020. And then you can see we've retested it a few times in June and July here. So until we get an answer here, I don't plan on trading this. We can clearly see that we have retested this in the past here. We have had supports in the past come back down and retest some wicks, but we haven't actually broken through that. So we'll see if this is it. So keep your eyes peeled on this. We'll see how we react to this, and this is going to be the next trade opportunity that might present itself within Bitcoin here. Otherwise, S&P opens in about 15 minutes. We could go higher. I mean, it's hit or miss right now. We are oversold on the weekly. We're very, very, very low. We're bouncing. We just bounced last week. We closed last week above this uptrend here. I'm praying that we are able to actually see the price of the S&P 500 break us through this downtrend here, kind of trend out of it. That's what I'm hoping to see happen here. Is it possible? I'm not entirely sure. Is it likely? I'm not entirely sure. It is possible, definitely, but I want to see how we react to this, because this is pretty much a critical zone that's either going to indicate a drop or a run. that's pretty much what we come down to here. So are we going to be breaking through this? Are we going to start to wake up? We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of downtrend. This is it's been a very long time since we've seen a 7-week downtrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 weeks. Still not a 7-week correction here. So we haven't seen a 7-week pullback in a very, 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 very long time on the S&P 500. So it's quite interesting. I don't think we're going to continue an 8th week of correction. It's possible, but we have to keep our eyes peeled. We're bouncing off some major supports here. I'm hoping we can break through this and head up, but we'll see how the markets do decide to open here, because it's very easy for the S&P 500 to reject off its resistance here. It's very easy for us to hit this and correct lower. And we're going to find this out today. We're going to open a candle right here, and we're going to trend up, or we're going to, break below here. And that's pretty much going to indicate where we move to in the next coming days, if not weeks here. Otherwise, that's going to wrap up today's video. I do want to talk more about 1inch with you. I want to give a huge shout out to 1inch for partnering with me to bring us today's episode. Now, as with all cryptocurrency projects, please remember to do your own research and never invest anything you are not comfortable with losing. All right, guys, so at this point, you should all be familiar with decentralized exchanges, and you would know that DEXs have their own perks compared to centralized exchanges. But what's even better than a DEX is called a DEX aggregator. Now, 1inch is just that, a DEX aggregator, and 1inch actually allows you to easily exchange your favorite DEXs simultaneously. Now, with their varied advantages over their centralized counterparts, namely self-custody, enhanced stability, listing autonomy, and coin diversity, decentralized exchanges have become increasingly common among users. However, some of the big drawbacks come in the form of low liquidity with thin order books that lead to high slippage and costly cancellations of transactions. And at any given point across decentralized exchanges, prices and transaction fees can vary significantly. And rather than having to manually check and compare prices across exchanges, 1inch actually collects the real-time pricing data from various DEXs to allow traders to identify the optimal price across the market and capture the trading opportunity within a single platform. Now, some of the popular exchanges that 1inch aggregates data from are Uniswap, Paraswap, SushiSwap, OX, Kyber Network, and even Balancer. Now, 1inch exchange is a DEX aggregator that is non-custodial and seeks to fix the thin order book and front-running problems. Now, what's cool is 1inch exchange does not charge any fees for withdrawal, and as the exchange does not deposit the funds, there is no withdrawal or payments associated. Now, 1inch exchange does not levy any fees on the purchase, although the gas fees are applicable to the user, which I have some great news about. Now, as any transaction is done on the Ethereum network, all transactions involve the payment of gas charges. Now, the 1inch Foundation has made a decision to compensate gas costs to the 1inch DEX aggregator users. And the 1inch team was thrilled to announce that on September 1st, last year of 2021, the 1inch Foundation began the distribution of 10 million 1inch tokens as gas consumption refunds to users who will stake 1inch through the 1inch app. Now, initially, the idea of such a gas refund program was proposed by the 1inch community members through the 1inch Network's governance forum, and the spent gas amount will be refunded in 1inch tokens on the first day of each subsequent month. What's even crazier is since September, 1inch actually managed to hit their 10 million 1inch token goal for the gas refund program. With that being said, they've now started their second distribution of the 10 million 1inch tokens and have currently hit about 800,000 1inch tokens for the gas refund program. So definitely make sure to take advantage of this with the links down in the description below. And the 1inch Foundation has also developed a simple system. Now, to be eligible for monthly gas refunds, 1inch users need to stake 1inch for the whole period between the first swap in a month to be taken into consideration and the day of the gas refund distribution itself. Now, the amount of staked 1inch tokens is also important to them. Now, staking of 100 1inch allows users to actually get 25% of a gas refund. Staking 1,000 1inch gets you 50% of a gas refund. Staking 10,000 1inch tokens gets you 75% refund, and staking 100,000 1inch gets you 100% gas refund. Now, lastly, as usual, remember to take advantage of their referral program, and if you want to earn some passive income, check out their mobile app they have recently developed. So guys, also if you want to save on gas fees or just save money, I definitely recommend the 1inch platform, which I've linked down in the description below. Otherwise, huge shout out to 1inch for partnering with me, and as always, make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.